All right, so we're back. There was a technical issue there. So now I have all of these things in place, ready to. Now, there are a couple of things that we want to just make sure we have in place. So one of them is the on-off switch, which I was hoping to put somewhere way out of the way. So I don't want it to be like in the way of the battery or something like that. I'm just trying to figure out where is a good spot. And there's a great spot right here, but it's sort of in the way of the battery. I don't really want that to happen. So yeah. There's another spot there. Maybe cut that away. It's not ideal either. Anyway, let's just see if we can. The other thing is I need to do is I get some zip ties and just tidy up some of this wiring. So of course this, get them all untangled because yeah. Just at least bind a few of them together and keep them a bit organized. And then when you just want this sort of sticking out, I might thread it under there. You want this sticking out as much as possible. That's your battery connector. You don't want them to get caught up with anything like that on the servo. That's ridiculous. So it doesn't help that they're all different lengths and a bit hodgepodge. Some more zip ties. Thinking one more. Just keep those brushless wires out of the way. Installing the I know that's not great. It's not the best wire management, but cable management as they call it, but it will at least keep everything under control while I do the rest of this. So let's imagine that I've got about this size battery in there, which is heaps. It's not much. It's like I've got heaps more room. And then I want to put, just keep all of these cables out of the way. So I'm just going to put it down like that. Something causing issues here. I think it's the way I decided to put that. Shouldn't be too much issue, is it? Oh, it is. So I need to move that to there. I think all the problems will go away then. Mostly. Nearly. Still an issue. I think there's an issue with that bit there. It won't take long to sort out, I don't think. Just so the point of this going live is just to sort of, it's a little bit like behind the scenes. I mean, this is what it looks like most of the time when I'm making videos. It's just me actually trying to figure out how to put this together. I'm and by no means an expert on this stuff. I just sort of figure it out as I go. I ask lots of people, how they did theirs, and it's more of a journey really than being an expert at anything. Most of the time, I figure it out just before I make a video. Just working this stuff out. A lot of how I made this vehicle was going back and looking at how to make things work. So I think it's too high still. I have to go a little bit lower. Take another few mil off. 4 or 5 mil, 4 mil. This thing can sit there with lots of pressure on it and not move, and then it'll just go. I've got to be careful with these things, really careful. Wear gloves if you have to with all these things. Had a friend just text me. I think that did the trick. Should just fit over that. Yeah. I think it's just the wires causing the issue now, which is a good thing because make that work. I just tuck them up into the inside the cab for now. Put that battery back in. Just help me with the mock-up. Should work just fine. I'm going later today. I'm going to this tech hub in my city where I live, and I know of a shop there that sells custom batteries, probably for the drones. This just doesn't want to go down. I also have to figure out a way to sort of secure it here, but it's mostly there. I wonder if I just glued that there. That work. Anyway, just trying to figure out what's stopping it. I think it's about right there. Yeah, bit like that. So, the thing that makes this truck really tricky is that this suspension. I'll try and position it so you can see. Maybe bring it right up to camera. So this suspension here, it sits right in the way of the holes to mount this cab. So half of the reason to do this was to figure out if there was an easier way to do it. And I just can't figure it out yet. So that's it perfectly like that. The suspension is probably loose from the last time I tried to figure this out. Take this suspension off. So yeah, every time I want to take the cab off, it's like I have to take the suspension off. So I wanted to make like a sort of don't have to take the cab off ever type solution to everything. Okay, and I understand this is kind of boring, but it is completely optional if you'd like to keep watching. So, but I think most of that will just sort of sit out of the way, I hope. You know, if I were to cut that away, I wonder if that's offering anything for the inside. That does absolutely nothing. So if I cut, look, okay, so this little ridge here, not offering much. So I'm just going to cut it off. And then I'm going to try and sneak the some of the wiring in there. Okay. Okay. So then if the wiring can sit over here a bit, out of the way, or at least be allowed to flow into there. Same with this. Right, can sit all under here. Just modify this little bit. Try to show you what I'm doing. Just a little bit of this dash here. I have to be really gentle with it. This is the part people can see. But you know, I was once building my own comp truck. Didn't quite get there, but I have sat in a lot of comp trucks, and they do have actual modifications like this to fit, you know, more impressive gearboxes and bigger engines and stuff like that. A lot of these cars are actually cut up like this for real. So yeah, that's starting to make a bit more sense inside. And now the idea is, how do I make it fasten onto there? My idea was to do like a little bit of a screw type thing. Sorry, I'm just going to think out loud for a bit here. I was thinking of doing something a bit like one of these So you know how these sort of things exist, so you can mount this to the wall. You know, you put like a screw on the wall and you put it on and then you slide it down and it's locked in place. So I was thinking about doing something like that in this little spot here and here. So putting a little screw in there and sort of going in and down, and then it's sort of locked in place. But I have no idea how to actually do that by measuring. I sort of have to know where the end spot is. I wonder if there's sort of a simpler solution. Better way to do it. Then also I want to sort of cover up all this stuff here. Not really sure how to do any of that yet either. But maybe I should just sort of put this on. And then also there will be paint as well. Next step after that. So also not sure about that. But like, it's got a fair bit of flex. So I'm pretty happy about that. Doesn't rub. Pretty happy about that. Don't know, I might rub a little bit on that door, but you know, that's a little bit. That is just a little bit. All right, so I think that's nearly there. So the next step will be to get a hacksaw, and I think I'm going to cut off right. I'm going to start cutting right around here, where this suspension mount goes to here, and then just after this silver nut, I'm going to cut. I think I'm going to reduce by, you know, reduce the chassis by about that much, about there. And then maybe be able to put this brace, this red brace here, maybe attach it to here. So maybe I should think about, I think I did it that way because of the size of the screw. Oh no, there's another screw that fits like that. So let's try that. So if I can get this brace in place, and then I know where exactly I can cut the chassis. And this one also has this little where are those pliers? This little thing I had to hold that bit of ABS in place, but I don't think I'll need it. I mean, maybe up here, but then I might be able to, you know, I'm also thinking if I flip them over, I might be able to mount the tray. I can make a tiny little tray to it. Maybe flip it upside down and make a little bit of a tray out of ABS. And then when I'm fully done, so this can go just like that, I think. And then this will become like a mount for the tray. And we can I was sort of making the point that I could probably have the these little braces create a tray, a little mini tray, and sort of hide it further, and then I can pull it all off and paint it all. And I think I'm going to go like a desert tan type color with a bit of rust. So I've learned some pretty cool techniques by another channel about how to do this cool rust technique using hairspray. And so we'll investigate doing that. So that's come out. That's come out. And I guess while I'm here and doing all of this stuff, I should just flip this over. It's going to mean the suspension's coming off. These trucks, you know, everything's connected to everything else. So you decide to do one little change and it's like you take half the truck apart to make it happen. But okay, that was simple. Just I was able to flip that over, so I didn't have to go all the way. Put this one back in. Okay, so that one was flipped over. That's loose as a goose because of that. And I need a different type of screw to put this together. These little tubs are fantastic for keeping everything together. Got my little screw set here. And I'll need one of these little ones, I think. Super little one. I don't see it. I think they're very little ones that you have to use for this. Like this. Can't even pick them up. Some tweezers to be able to pick up this right screw, but I think it's this one. That one should be about right. Could probably go one longer. Maybe that one. So yeah. Good thing is I got something else coming out. I just bought one of these. Oh, the C24, which I'm going to mod rather similar to this one. And thankfully, a lot of the parts are interchangeable, so it'll mean I won't be going off and buying, a whole new set of parts. Just a handful to be able to get that exactly how I want it. So I'm looking forward to that. But look, once I've done this mod, screw these back in. That's screwed in. Oh, that's feeling very stiff, which is exactly what I want out of that chassis. Nice and stiff. So everything else is so loose. You want at least one little part of your truck to be very solid, So this setup, there's a lot of play in it. I've tried to sort of get rid of as much as possible, but it has been a little bit tricky. All right, that's nice and tight. All right, so that looks like it's all ready to go in place. And so now I know exactly where to cut, which is right there. And I'll cut off about a good 30 mil of chassis. And that'll make, that a really stubby little back. And then we'll grab this and we'll make like a little tray, something like that. Maybe something that comes out and just covers. We don't want any rub, right? So when it flexes up, when you flex up, you probably only want it to come out about that much. Maybe flush with this here. Might even be able to just cut it in a little bit, but it'll only go to here. So maybe it'd just be like a little, little V shape. I wonder if I can get this ABS with like a checker plate pattern on it. That'd be super cool. And just taper it in a little bit at the back here, but it won't be much. It really won't be much at all. And this sticks up a little bit, which might be, they stick up quite a bit. I might have to cut it out to maybe only go into there. Might just be a tiny little bit. Yeah, cutting all the way around that might be too finicky, too much cutting. So yeah, but I think that'll be good. So the next step will probably be to get the hacksaw out on, then the front. So we're going to discuss how much cutting we're going to do at the front. So I think I will. Let's take this little thing off. This is a mounting plate for the body. So because this thing's quite stiff, I think we can get away with quite a lot of cutting here at the front. So I definitely want to cut back to this mounting point here, which is probably about 5-6 mil worth. Are we there? Okay. Hey, Billy Bob, thanks for joining, man. Thanks for the support. And then probably the same, at least the same amount, maybe all the way back up to here on this side. I did want to make it, yeah, Aussie crawler, or full Aussie crawler. So this is the, sorry, you've just joined. So this is the WPL C24 that I've been putting together. It's not much C24 left to it. It's the Beast from the Beast video. And then next up, we're going to be working on this. I want to make it pretty much the same. Yo, Turtle RC, thanks for joining, man. Appreciate it. So yeah, I'm just discussing how I'm going to make this chassis even smaller. And I've spent most of today working out this how to hide all these electronics in here and make this little ute compartment actually work for the battery. So I've cut that off the tray, and just figuring out how much I can cut the chassis back here to make it even smaller and just stop any sort of the rear diff was scrubbing a little bit, so I was just sort of wanted to make it even shorter and reduce the weight a bit there. So yeah, so it was actually inspired by someone else, a Japanese guy I'd seen make something similar, but not exactly the same. But I managed to mod this box, this sort of section here, which I cut off the tray. The tray's here. So I cut it out of there and sort of modded it quite a lot. I cut TRX4 or TRX4M? The little one, the 1/10 scale or 1/18 scale? Because I've got a 1/18 scale up there. And it's, I actually didn't spend a cent if you want to talk about that. This is the TRX4M. And I actually didn't buy anything from Traxxas. I made this completely out of aftermarket parts. And look, I've still got to do a bit to it. I went and bought the IR40 body, just sitting over here somewhere. The place is a complete mess. So I went and got this body, which is super sick, but it won't fit to this chassis. So the next time I leave the country, I have to go buy the Endura battery because I can't get anything from Endura here. But yeah, then I'll be able to fit this, and it'll sort of be where I want. I've also got the next size up tire. This is the 58 mil. I've got the 63, which is like that. I've forgotten the name of them. They're called Baja Pro in real life. I don't know what Endura calls them. What are they called? Endura crawler tire. And I originally had these on a Galunde 1/18 scale, which worked on the Galunde because that's closer to like a 24th scale, even though it's called a 18 scale. And they work really well on that truck. But yeah, RC4 drive. The Rambler. Oh, you know what? It's been so long since I've been on an RC4 Drive website. I couldn't even tell you what that tire looked like from memory. I'll have to go look it up. Yeah, so anyway, getting back on track, I think the next step would be maybe seeing if I could probably even cut. So this came off here, and I'm wondering, can I cut maybe a bit of this out and then use this? At least it's got a bit of texture and it's already painted black. So yeah. So I live in China, where most of this stuff is all made, just down the road actually, but a lot of things are off limits. We can't buy them here, so I cannot buy Enduro stuff here. It's like banned. So if next time I travel back to Melbourne, I could probably buy a haul of stuff and then bring it back with me in the suitcase, and then start installing it. I would like another pair of these tires, but I figured that every time I go to drive, I can only drive one truck, so I'm just going to remove the tires and put them on the next truck. So, yeah, I mean, I'm in 3 group chats, and they're all full, so there's about 1,500 people across 3 group chats, and they all go driving. Where I live, there's a lot of mountains just nearby. Just a short drive, maybe 15-minute drive from me. There's huge mountain ranges, and we just go on the hiking tracks and crawl up there. And you see guys with electric dirt bikes or mountain bikes, or just hikers along those trails, and they're pretty rugged walking or bike tracks, and they're pretty wide. You probably could fit a car up them, but they're great for crawling. A lot of the videos of my trucks crawling from my page, my YouTube, they're all from that track. It's called Maylin. And yeah, it's pretty good crawling. The guys here, they're not really into modifying. They sort of just buy a truck and leave it stock. They wouldn't dream of doing anything like this. Yeah, they're good guys. But no one really does like a 1-to-1 crawler. There's not real 4 driving like that. Like back at home, where we'll take an 80 series or a Hilux or a Patrol, and we'll put 35s or 37-inch tires and 6-inch suspension lift and all that sort of stuff, bars and stuff like that. That doesn't really happen here. But yeah, definitely like RC stuff, and they've got access to great RC products here, different to Australia. But a lot of what we have in Australia comes from here anyway, just down the road. I'm in Shenzhen, which is like where all the factories are. Let me read the chat. Just trying to have a lot of calls. Yeah, mate. In Colorado, USA, big scene here for both. Yeah, of course, Colorado, Rocky Mountains. New here, China crawling sounds interesting. Had a sub. I'm stuck in Washington State. Oh, so 2 from the US. Washington State. Look, I've been to Colorado because I've been skiing in Aspen or snowboarding, and I haven't been to Washington, so I wouldn't know what it's like there. But if either of you 2 play like Snow Runner or Mud Runner on PC, there's a Washington State map, I think, or Virginia. I think that's pretty good. And then yeah, I mean USA, the 4 drives are nuts. Usually Jeeps, right, with like 38-inch tires, even bigger 40-inch tires. Those rock crawler type trucks, they're really cool. But the Aussie style 4 driving is probably closer to something like this. This is an everyday sight on an Australian roads. A car look identical to this, and this is what we usually drive. And this is a Toyota Land Cruiser 79 series. They've got a V8 diesel in them, turbo diesel V8. We drive these around the farm back in my farm back in home. And these usually, for full driving, they usually put 35 or 37-inch Trepador tires on them. And that's pretty classic full drive, Aussie full drive. Yeah, which I love, which is why, I've got Toyotas, because that's what we drive back at home. Nissan Xterra, I've never seen one. Nissan Xterra. I have to look it up. I've never seen one. Nissan Xterra. Oh, we call these a Pathfinder. They're marketed as a Pathfinder in Australia. Or X-Trail, I think they're called. Yeah, just different name for a different market, I think. But yeah, they're sort of like a family car in Australia. We usually have a Nissan Patrol. What do they call a Y60? We call them Patrol GU and GQ, the really popular ones. You can look that up. Nissan Patrol GQ, which is the older looking one, and then the GU, which is sort of the newer looking one, but it's pretty old now as well. We've got everything flavour trucks here except those weird car truck things you all got down under. What car truck? What's a car truck? Like a wagon? Car truck. Can you get me can you Google it and tell me what sort of model you're talking about? Car truck. I don't know what you're talking about. Like the Aussie tradition is to have like a ute. You're talking about a ute. Yeah. So it looks like a sedan, but it's got a tray back or a style side back. The idea for that was to sort of get you to work on. Hey, thanks for the subscribe. Take care, man. We'll see you later in the next one. The utes. So the idea was to bump around the farm during the week and then take your wife to church on Sunday. That was the concept for that style of car, and it seems to be in most Aussies' blood, that style. So they're not 4-wheel drive, they're 2-wheel drive, and most people want them with a V8 and they want them to go as fast as possible. So we actually race them in Australia. You can look up the V8 supercar utes on YouTube and look for some racing there. Tomley has one. Does he? What, like a Falcon or Holden or a Falcon? Falcons are called Ford Falcon XR8 Ute, or like are they called XR8? Yeah. And then the Holdens are called R8, I think. I don't know. I'm not super into them. I wouldn't personally own one. I'd much rather a 4-wheel drive. They're 2-wheel drive. They're usually lowered, like belly scrapers. They got big petrol V8, like 5-litre V8, 5.5-litre V8, and then they're not made for off-road, not at all. People usually drift them. So yeah, no, not my cup of tea. But yeah, utes, and then you can look up like an even like niche part of ute culture is called BNS, where they put like 5-poster truck bull bars on them and big aerials and flags, the Australian Southern Cross flag, and they're called bush pigs, where people who are quite feral are probably equivalent to American redneck, sort of go out bush and drink beer and act really not my culture, but I do know it. I've been close to it. So anyway, so I think moving back to the truck here, I think the next bit would be to sort of get I don't know who wants to watch me use a hacksaw on live, but I think I'll just later today or something cut this chassis back down to there, and this will be near on complete, and I can go ahead and paint this, and then I also got to figure out a better fastening method, but as far as I think that's it. So yeah, I mean I'm open to also like what you want to look at, we can probably look at. Excuse me, wires on this thing. Okay. Put that over there. So the next thing was to look at this. Get rid of all this mess. This just arrived yesterday, and I want to make it exactly like that Hilux I just took off the desk, pretty much. So the chassis and setup is almost identical, and you know, it's a bit like your grandpa's bump around the farm truck at the moment, but you know, there are not many mods to make this like an insane truck. So the first thing I wanted to look at, and while we've got it on the bench, is first of all let's have a look. I think this might be the box. So I've got these axles. I think these are meant for the Hilux. I'll just see if they're a bit bigger. I don't think they're any bigger. Are they a little bit bigger? No, they're about the same size, so they're not going to work. So, yeah, I just was about to make a video of this one I've been building. If you want to look at 1/10, let's put this down. So this is, I mean, it's, sorry, just going to make some room here because it's on Axial Wraith. Axial Wraith axles, and it's a complete custom build. So I just bought parts online. Sorry. So I'm going to set it down here so I can show you. So I need to buy another bottle of Loctite for all these screws. I've lost my or ran out from the other one. So let's just position this down. So the concept was to, and you're going to think, man, this guy loves his loves his FJs, because this was the lid for him. And I haven't tuned the suspension or anything yet. I literally sort of mocked it up 2 days ago. But let's bring this all the way back, try and get it in frame. So yeah, this was inspired by the Toyota USA's FJ Bruiser. Servo and axle, it will be. I've just got to find the mount. I don't know where to get the mount. There was a really cool looking mount that looked exactly like that Bruiser. Do you know the one I'm talking about? The green one that Toyota USA made with the NASCAR engine in it. And they have this like hydraulic steering on axle set up, completely custom. And you can actually buy these servo mounts that look just like it, and they hide the servo behind the diff, like right at the back here, and then just the arm sticks over, and then they have like a thing that looks like the hydraulic, and I've still yet to find it. I mean, I thought I had it saved in my my shopping trolley online or something, but yeah, with the waffle cover. Not sure if I know that one, but if you can share the name of it, I can look it up later and confirm with you another time. But yeah, they sort of, I don't know exactly how they work. And it might have been like a whole axle assembly, to be honest. Dirt guard. Well, I think, is that, let's get rid of that because you know what that looks like now. So, is that what you're talking about, that thing? It's all a bit loose, and I don't even know if those links are the right links. But on the rear, I wanted to do the trailing arm suspension, like more off like a trophy truck, because again, on the linkage like a real truck. I'm not sure what you mean. On the linkage, like a real truck. Dirt guard. Oh, like a what do they call them? Like a sock. Is that right? Is that what you're talking about? To protect the hydraulics from getting dirt in them? Like a rubber sock? No? I don't know. Dirt guard. Servo I know you with the waffle cover. I'd have to look it up. Yeah, scale. Yeah. I'd have to find it, and it might take me a while of just sitting on my phone looking through the history, like my search history. But I think maybe, and I remember I probably didn't buy it because they were quite expensive, and the point of this was to not spend much money. All of this stuff is like the cheapest in category sort of stuff, and this suspension I stole from my 110 scale back in Australia last time I was there. I just quickly unbolted them and brought them over. This brushless system, it comes with a dig. It was also like one of the cheapest ones I could buy that would fit directly onto this chassis. This chassis was like the cheapest one in its category. The axles were also super cheap. You know, they're all sort of knockoff sort of things. The tires are also cheap for the category. These wheels are also like, they were 17 RMB. That would be about, I don't know, $10 I guess. 17 would be about $14. No, it'd be less. It'd be like $7 or $8. Yeah, the China build, but it's all good stuff. And you know, over here, the local version of what you would call Amazon is it's super cheap. All of this stuff is like here is, so you probably know the FMS FCX 18 here. That's 968 RMB. That's like 200 Australian dollars. That would be like 100 US bucks. So yeah, it's pretty cheap. I would be here for hours looking through this my history to find that. But like, look at these. Look at this suspension. This is for 110 scale, and you can get like those triple bypass looking shocks. Like, you know, they look like they look like the real deal. They're super cool. Shocks look a little springy, yeah, because there's no fluid in them yet. I still got to buy some heavier weight shock fluid. So yeah, it is definitely very springy. Because they're basically empty. So yeah. Shock keys, look, servos, sheet metal, lots of stuff in here that I got to sort through a lot of this. But I wish I could find them and show them to you now. It was a while ago, so I don't know how far back I'll have to go to find them. Yeah, so 110 scale FJ Bruiser build. But I tell you what, if you've got some advice for me, I've got I want to get these rear links with the the shock mount on the link for a trailing arm style. Only have a Capra 1.5. Doesn't the Capra have suspension, trailing arm suspension? And how long are those links? Because I would like to mount this rear suspension on the link, and then I would have to do something with the shock tower here. I'll put my phone down and show you what I mean. Like, you know, if it's mounted here on the link and then it's coming up, it'd have to mount somewhere around here. So I'd have to make something, make a shock mount or get some keys or whatever. But yeah, I mean, this shock angle is pretty extreme. I mean, on the rear, it's pretty normal, but to see shocks like mounted like that on the front is, it's not super scale. And I could probably mount them a bit higher and maybe shift this brace back a bit and, you know, sort of massage it to be a slightly more scale, because on that angle it's pretty ridiculous. But yeah, I really don't know what to do other than maybe getting some much shorter links. Well, yeah, kind of pre-runner. I think that's the goal of that FJ Bruiser. If you've got Google open, I don't know if you're on your phone or on your computer, but if you look up Toyota FJ Bruiser and you look for a green looking machine on images, that's what I'm going for, and that's why I went with these big axles, because it like everything on it's oversized, and it's yeah. So yeah, pre-runner. That's right, pre-runner. It seems to be a pre-runner style truck. So yeah, that's what I'm going for with this, and that's why I put the big brushless on it. And so if I wanted to, I can really make it hammer along if I want. But it's got the dig as well, so you know, with a bit of control, I can also crawl rocks on it. Yeah, and it's not supposed to be like winning comps or anything. It's supposed to be sort of getting as close to that as possible. Yeah, also, you know, we've got a Discord, so you could probably, you and your buddies would like to join the Discord. We could chat there. Let me see if I can put a link in the chat. Just bear with me while I open it up. We can chat further there. Because, you know, we could even turn this into sort of like a community build where you guys can tell me exactly how to get the best out of it. But I mean, with these chassis, I wish they had way more mounting points for shocks, because even they put these little towers on them and they drill holes all over. They don't really give you it's like a lot of them are useless, you know, and then they put this little gap here to like save weight or whatever. But that you know, there's plenty of options there. I wish they went forward a bit. Oh, I haven't opened Discord in like forever, so it's updating. But yeah, we could probably I'll send the link in the chat in just a moment, so you can join that Discord and we can chat there. And we can, you know, post. There's somewhere you can post pictures of your own build and you can discuss with other people. But we can build a bit of a community there where we can chat about all our builds and what we're going to do with them, and collaborate on building a Yikong Toyota 4S pre-runner. Huh? Yikong has a Toyota pre-runner? Or are you modding it to make it? Do you have the model number? Coming back to here. You're modding it to make it like a pre-runner. There you go. You can join us there. What's the model number of the Yikong? I'll look it up, because I don't know. It'll start with YK, I think. There is a pre-runner, an Yikong 1/7 scale pre-runner. It looks like one of those. There's that. And look at the suspension mounts for the rear there. See how far forward they are? But these things usually, you know, like full scale pre-runners, they really need to weigh the back of them down to get that suspension to perform exactly how they want them. I didn't know they had a Toyota. I can't even see the Toyota. I know I nearly bought an Yikong. What do they have? They have a not a Hilux. YK. Oh, let me look it up. 41011. Oh yeah, the that's a Toyota Land Cruiser 79 series. Yeah, dope. What does it look like under the hood? Oh yeah, yeah, cool looking truck. Yeah, that'll be a fun little project. What arms are you going to use? What rear trailing arms are you going to use um, to get that pre-runner style, and also what mounting points? Because it doesn't look like it has a whole lot of options for mounting points for the suspension on the top end. You're going to need like a custom setup, or you're just going to use a whole bunch of key like suspension mounting keys to get it there. Yeah, that's what it says there. Capra rear diff housing. What, and Capra rear suspension as well, like the whole rear end. So there's a Capra here, I think. Axial UTB Capra. It's like a whole truck here. Custom brackets. So you're putting Capra axles because it's got rear wheel steering, I think. Yeah, it's got rear steering as well. That Capra. Looking at it, this thing. Then I was looking at something like, look at this. There's a Traxxas. I don't know what you call these trucks. Trophy truck. Oh, it's 1/7 scale, so that's not going to fit my purpose. The motor mount. Why is that an issue? I'm sure you can get like an aftermarket one. What you do, okay, so because are you just going to use the same? If you're going to use the same gearbox, which looks great, looks like a good gearbox, then you just get, because I think it comes with a 32T brushed motor, you just look for the same size barrel brushless, right? Is that your problem? Because like that's what your gearbox looks like, right? And that motor, that's a brushed motor that they've used in the picture. But you could probably just bang the same size drum brushless motor in there. Or are you talking about how to connect up? Are you talking about from the perspective of like your drive shafts connecting on? From that perspective, are you talking about how you connect your drive shafts? I'm putting a 4,000 kV motor 4S. There's zero adjustment on the mount. Maybe you might want to look into like the aftermarket one, because that's what they say. Like here's a cutaway picture. Is that the gearbox you've got? Because that looks pretty good. Yeah, we can keep going in Discord, and you can invite your buddies over too, which would be good. To get a bit of a chat going. And there's yeah, we can keep going in there, and then if you want another channel, like I've put text channels in here, but if you want another channel for whatever model car you want to talk about, just let me know, and we can go from there. I mean, the channel originally was going to be all micro RCs. So, you know, I like my small trucks, but my buddies, they all the smallest truck they have is a 110 scale, and most of those guys have like 1/8 or 1/7 scale when we go out there. So they were like pressuring me to make something a bit bigger. So that's why I started doing this 110 scale. Plus with 110's like SCX platform, there are so many options on the market as far as like however what parts you want to use. It's like 50 different you know, of every different type of part. So it's very easy to put together something like this pretty cheap here. Yeah, so there is that. But we can discuss, and you know, if you want me to cover some stuff, I can go away and do some research, and we can build some stuff together. Yeah, I started off in 1/10. My first crawler was the first ever SCX 10 released well over 10 years ago, I think it was. It was that it was a Defender looking thing, silver Defender looking thing, and that had one too many dips in the ocean, crawling on rocks near the beach. So that thing was just ended up being a pile of rust. And then I did a custom RC Model X. Was this guy over in, I don't know, South America. I think he was making these like metal frame chassis things. Weighs like 10 or 15 kilos. But I never really finished that before I got married and had kids and stuff like that. But that stayed in Australia because it's just way too heavy to throw in the suitcase. So I'll just take some parts back to finish that off. So while I'm living here, I think micro RCs are better because you know, you can just these are supposed to come apart. Don't worry about that. But you can sort of, you can pack them in a suitcase way easier. So, but it doesn't matter if you're looking for like I might just make a general like FMS channel, Econ channel. So if you want to chat about those trucks in there with whoever, so yeah, I can do that. Do that a bit later. That's the first time I've dealt with this, so I don't know how to get that back on without breaking it. Crawling is sweet. Amora Basher racer speedrunner, but nothing beats crawling at the river and so on. No doubt, man. I love crawling. I had a beast full size 4-wheel drive in Australia that I went with my mates, and because I can't drive an actual 1-to-1 car anymore because I live here, I've gone right into the RC stuff, and it's you know, it's been a blast because you can sort of play with everything, you know. Like this was 250 RMB or 240 something RMB, which is like in Australian dollars that's like $50. I can spend about the same and turn it into an insane nearly comp crawler, and then with a bit of paint and a bit of time, make this like completely my own. Guten Tag from Germany, Austria. I was looking for RC YouTubers on live and saw this, decided to join. Thank you very much. I appreciate the support. We're just discussing all things possible here in China, where I live, and what sort of stuff we can get our hands on in terms of upgrades. All right, that just snaps on. Oh, it's got a little magnet there that holds the door closed. That's cute. Tiny little magnet there. So I'm going to RYURC from America, just partly speak German. My wife speaks German. She used to live in Germany. Here is my this is a WPL C24. Sorry, I'm just going to bring this guy up to date. We've been modding this thing, right? So this is how it looks. This is 16th scale. This apparently is also 16th scale, although it's probably closer to 1/12. But I'm going to do almost the same mods to this, so it's going to be just as jacked, I think. Yeah, like that. So you can sort of imagine what it'll look like if I do that. Sort of. If you squint, you can sort of see what it'll be like when I'm finished with it. So I will probably order the parts today. And if you guys are patient enough, I could probably just do it all on live stream. Just it'll probably take a day, like literally all day to do it. With, you know, stopping for lunch and the rest of it. So yeah, the next step would be to pull. I got to pull it all apart, double check all the mounting holes and everything. Yes, I have. On this truck, I did it initially, and I found out there was some rubbing, and so I couldn't do it because of this part of the shock. It rubs on the mount there. But I did try that initially, and I wanted to keep it that way, but I couldn't get as much flex out of it, so they had to go back the other way. So unfortunately, I couldn't do that on this truck. And I've had that issue a lot, actually, doing the upside down shock trick with the tower rubbing, like, you know, the reservoir rubbing on whatever mounts. And you'll notice on this one, I'll bring it nice and close. I've actually put these spacers to make it work here. And I tried putting the spacers down at the bottom here, and then that caused other issues with the tire rubbing on it and stuff. So unfortunately, I cannot do that with this truck. But I don't know. Every time I make a truck, I'm going to try that. But yeah, 9 times out of 10 hasn't worked for me. So, and look, these weigh grams compared to, like, you know, how heavy these things are. These, you can see in here, these hexes, they're huge and they're made of brass. And they weigh a ton compared to this tiny little aluminium thing that's hollow. It's grams on nothing. So I'm not too concerned about it. But the point of having this one here today was talking about getting this whole box. I made this on stream, and then I've adjusted these braces, and next thing I'm going to do is cut this chassis down, cut it down the front. It's also causing a lot of wear and tear on this servo. This is a stock servo, still going strong. These things are what cost nothing, but it's fraying the wires here a bit. And I got a replacement in my shopping cart online, you know, 11 kilo thing. But yeah, we'll do that. We'll do that when I come to it. Hold on, I'll be back in a sec. I'll be there in just a minute. All right, apologies for that delay. I hope you're still with me here. So, let me read the chat. Okay. Oh man, I hate it when it rubs. I've had that problem before. I have 2 crawlers, Red Cat, and an SCX4. Hold on, Red Cat Danchi Ridge Rock. I haven't heard of that before, unless it's got a different name when I look it up. But the SCX24, I have my eye on one. It's on my to-do list, but it's quite down. Like SCX24 is behind SCX 18 for me. I really love the LC80. Let me look up Red Cat Danchi Ridge Rock. Doesn't show up there. Red Cat. I just Google it so I know what I'm looking at. Oh yeah, I see. It's like a looks like a comp truck. Yeah, that's cool. That's really cool. And it's got rear wheel steering. That's awesome. So yeah. Anyway, so now how do you say that? Riwu RC. We've got a Discord going, and I'm just going to send you an invite for that, so you can come join our Discord, and we've got a general chat there. So make yourself at home there, and that's where we're going to be discussing, a few other things and a lot of your guys' trucks. I want to see everyone participating and getting their trucks up there so we can talk about it and help each other with it. Any troubleshooting or anything you want help with, call me Rye. Unfortunately, I don't have Discord. It's worthwhile, but I totally understand. But I want to sort of have somewhere where we can have all of the followers, subscribers, sort of congregate, and if you need help, we can sort of pull together our knowledge and help people with any troubleshooting trucks and whatever, or what to buy, or what fits when you're doing sort of custom mods like this sort of thing, because this is hardly even a WPL anymore, let alone C24. So if you do embark on something like this, you maybe want some support. So we'd like to offer that. So yeah, what was the next thing? I think I just was saying, no one wants to watch me spend half an hour cutting through metal with a hacksaw, but that is the next step for this truck. And then I want to sort of maybe I put this C24 away, put it down here, and then pick this up. Because the next step would be to just figure out this truck and how to, let's see how you get to actually remove it from. Okay, there's a screw there that will do the rear, and then the front. Maybe the front comes off with this bar. So let's see how this thing comes apart and what we're going to need to. It's great. They all use the same screws. Like, you can just buy one of those WPL C screw set, and it'll work for basically every C vehicle they have. So that doesn't really remove. I wonder how it's. I wonder if that's connected. So I know I can tell that the rear is held on by these. I think I need a smaller screwdriver. That one doesn't seem to fit in there. But yeah, what do you guys want to talk about? Because while I'm doing this, I'll just read the chat. Or if you need help with anything RC related, I'll see if I've got the knowledge to help you. What happened to the screwdriver? I don't know. I had a small one here somewhere. Yeah, but totally willing to discuss whatever. Maybe that small one works. What's in there? Put a little Phillips head. Put all the Phillips heads away because WPL's the only one with Phillips, and I really work on it. I've been working on a usually Hex. So yeah, let's pull this apart and see if we can make heads and tails of the how it's sort of put together. Maybe, oh, I see, it's got this little clip system. I've never seen that before. These two just clip off. And then it's got a clip here. Here. Well, this is odd. I don't know how I'm going to get used to this. But maybe they learnt their lesson with the C24, which is an absolute pain to take the body off. But this is not any better. Does anyone have these? Who's interested in WPL? Because they're gaining popularity because of how cheap they are, which is totally understandable. Like, I think they're great in that respect. Is this all connected to that, or is that? I think it's different, isn't it? Yeah. Doesn't look. Oh. You see, it does that. Like, put these little screws in the front, hidden somewhere. I tell you what, with WPL, if you mod them, you want to make them so you don't ever have to take the body off, because they're often an absolute pain to get the body off. Okay, it seems to be held on. Oh, here we go. More screws. Rightio. Man, why are these screws all over the truck? That's where like companies like Enduro come along and they make like a one button release, and it's it's like it just hinges off. And you're like, yeah, that's what I'm looking for. But no one wants to be done doing like 6-7 screws every time you take the lid off. So anyway, let's have a look. All right, here we go. Now there's this thing. Just take the globe out, I think. All right. So that body, we'll mod that later. I think we'll cut these fenders down. So underneath, I mean, look how simple this thing is. There's nothing to it. There's literally nothing to this. But we will have to discuss. So there's this tiny little. How is this fastened on? Oh, there's a screw there, hidden away. There's a screw under here. Screwdriver's too big. All right, let's have a look here. So we're going to have to make everything fit in here. Wow, I don't know if that's going to happen. So that's the electronics compartment there. And yeah, all right. That's That's a tiny little board sitting on top of the servo. So what am I going to do? All right, so we will no longer have. Oh, do I actually want to do that? So I can do servo just search WC, and the first thing that you showed was full pre-built aluminium chassis on Temu for $6. What? Oh, yeah. Be careful with that. That doesn't sound right at all. I know what you're talking about, like all the aluminium options put together as a truck. Yeah, it's not going to be $6.60. It's going to be like one part of that. That's a pretty common Chinese thing to do. It's like, say, oh yeah, there's the picture. It's $6.60, but actually you're buying like the screw set for $6.60 or something like that. So just be really careful with that. So there is not a lot of space to put, you know, a brushless ESC and a proper receiver in there. But what I could do is, if I was willing to go servo on Axel, I could use all of that space then to hide all of that stuff. And then I would absolutely be able to fit everything in there and have it just super duper clean. And there's actually a little bit of space in there. A little bit of space to fit all that stuff. So, and then this, what is this? I think it's like, so I'm almost sure that, let's get this one up here. It's the same, right? I think that the mounting points for that, let's see. Yep. I think this 2-speed, this full aluminium 2-speed, will fit in there. You know, when you looked it up, was it that sort of aluminium sort of stuff? I got like a little kit that was like a chassis brace. So I think, and I mean, while we've got this up here and we're talking about this model, this brushless outrunner, I've modified that quite a lot to fit in here. This is actually from the MN82, and it by no means fits in their stock. You have to cut down the drive shaft and then find the right pin, the right amount of tooth pinion to go on there to fit in, and yeah, it was quite a lot of work. A picture of the chat. Now I'll have to go. Yeah, let me see if I can go find your channel. Go to YouTube. Just bear with me. How do you spell your channel? RYWUR. Oh yeah, yeah. That a lot of that stuff's useless, to be honest. I bought some of it. That whole thing is not $6.60. I promise you. It'll be like the shock tower is $6.60. Yeah, because I know someone who put all of that on one of their cars, and they said it was nearly $800. Which you definitely don't want to be spending that on one of these. You can yeah. Anyway, sorry, I got distracted with that poll that you had on your channel. So I think realistically this would also take the 2-speed gearbox, and since I've done that before, that mod, I think I might. Yeah, because it's got all the mounting holes for that right one, the metal one. Yeah, and yeah, we can go into that because I could probably find the exact same thing. Temu is basically a gateway to Taobao, which is what we use here, and yeah, I mean, I could go on for days about the systems that they use and everything, but let's just keep it on. Let's just keep it on RC. So I think also that chassis set will work on this, so I probably should put one of those in my basket. This is a different setup at the front, so I might not touch that. Probably won't touch that front, but I could definitely put those cross braces at the back there, cut it down a bit. But I probably won't mod this at the back, I don't think. I think I'll just keep it like looking like this, but with the big tires and everything. So there won't be any need for cutting chassis or any of that stuff. So it'll just be sorting out what links, and those links, and that dryer shaft. I mean, when you buy these things, they're so cheap because they're all plastic. And like this thing, I mean, look, there's nothing to it. I mean, for $50, you would even say, oh, it's a bit expensive, but they've got the full Toyota body and everything like that. So it is, that's where I derive the value from. But all right. So, and at the front, I 100% know what's going to fit here. So I've debated whether or not to buy any mounts. So this little part here, okay, this is like a suspension mount, and all of these holes are usually the same, and I can guarantee that one will fit at the front, and then that gives you mounting options at the front. The long one is probably not long enough for those holes, but the long one will definitely fit at the back here on these two. There is a, yeah, let's tilt that. So there's a hole there and a hole there. So that will mount at the back, and it'll give me it'll be exactly like this one here, right? So it gives you like, I don't know, 8 options. And then at the front, you can give about 5 options. But maybe I don't need to buy that, because I've also seen that these fit, apparently, this little shock tower, which is the one I believe is the $6.60 you're paying for. This may fit here, just like that. Right, and then that gives you, half a dozen options. 9 options for mounting. Right, and it's got this little, it's got this little ledge and this button here, and that button fits through the hole and under the chassis and stops it from moving. So you can just put one screw in there and the whole thing stays together. Let me turn it around like that. Right, and then you can mount up to here, something like that. I don't know how much flex that'll offer. Let's take this. You can take this off. This not even worth the plastic it's made out of, these shocks, but when you take them off, it gives you a bit better idea about how much flex you can actually expect out of these things. It's stuck in there. Okay, so look, I took the shock off and look how much flex it's got. Previously it had about 15 mil, and that gives you about, I don't know, nearly 100 mil. That's the difference. So you know, you could almost just, yeah, I think even with those links, I might even change the links. I might change the links a little bit on here. Although when I put this back on, I don't want it to go much further forward. Maybe a little bit. Once I have those big tires on there. So I might not even need to buy the links at this point, which is interesting. Let's have a look at. Mounting positions for those are almost exactly the same as well. So I might not buy the links yet. I just buy the suspension, the axle, internal spring shocks. You know what, man? Yeah, they are. And they're bone dry inside. There's no bushings or anything to hold oil. You couldn't even fill them if you wanted to. They're just injection molded, one piece of plastic with this cap. This thing's like a clip-on cap. Pull it off. These are basically rubbish anyway, so I'll just pull it apart for you. You can have a look inside. So that's what it looks like. And this might fly off. Be very careful. There you go. There's the little spring. That's the spring that was inside it. And then I'm trying to, it's a bit dark. Probably can't see inside there. I'm trying to see it. No. But I mean, it's so plasticky and crap. They can pretty much go straight in the bin. Although I like to keep some of these things around. You never know how something like that can help you in a future build. You're like, oh, I just need something like that to snap on there, and you know, you can repurpose that maybe as a chassis mount or something like those. You know, I don't know. Oh my god, do you know what? Down there, you can't see it because it's too dark and the camera can't pick it up. There is a it's a Phillips head. And I'm pretty sure that's how they just put this thing together. Oh. Like it's not. Okay, so that just screwed off. And that's what it's like inside. It's just like Phillips head threaded, bang, like that. So yeah. I not much to say about them, to be honest. But okay, I think this is pretty straightforward. I think I can take a few things out of my shopping trolley, and let's have a look what I've got here. Go back. Go to my shopping trolley. All right. So. Drive shafts, we'll need those. Don't need links. I need those, that. Okay. So it's about 200 RMB, about 40 bucks worth of upgrades. Oh, I will need, what are they called? Fly Sky. I'll need a receiver. They're 80 RMB. It's about $16. All right. And am I going to go down? Let's have a look at the C24. Look, I know you looked up something like this, right? That's the sort of thing you looked up before. WPL C24, C14, fully decked out, all aluminium, right? Everything upgraded. And that one's, look, 497. 497 is about 100 Australian dollars. And Australian dollars is about 60 US cents. So you're talking about 60 bucks for the whole kit. Not bad. but could probably do better. So this is what I'm looking for. So if you ever see this plastic transmission, get in the light, right, in a WPL, you know you can buy one of these. All aluminium metal 2-speed. So 138 comes with everything you need. Oh, 153. Why is it? Oh, it doesn't come with the 38. 20 RMB? 20 RMB for one of those servos? I'm not going to pay 20 RMB for one of those servos. What else is it? That's it? I can get those servos way cheaper. I think I already own one. 138 for the black. Of course, I'm going black. You only go by going red is ridiculous. No one has red parts in their car. It's all painted black. But anyway, no, I don't want that. I just want that. So 356. 300 is about 60 Australian dollars. 50 is 10, about 70 bucks. Yeah, shock shaft or a screw. I don't know, man. That's a good question. That's philosophical. That looks like the chassis, but I just searched WLB and that showed up. Yeah. Well, also, what SEO are they paying for? But that C24, you could, by all means, go buy all the aluminium stuff, but you could buy the original car for way cheaper than that, and you could buy all the upgrades to copy what I did for much cheaper than that. So if you wanted to copy along, actually on my channel, there's a playlist called WPL C24 where you can. But if you do decide to go down that path and get a C24, I would get the 14. It's way easier to mod because it comes with a tray back. And that would be my advice. Don't get the 24, get the 14. They come with cooler colors as well. So, yep, definitely do that. I think. Oh, now that's going to come with a crappy little motor. The motor I want for it is. It'll say here what sort of motor it is. I think it's called I think it's a 270, isn't it? 370 motor. So. Brush. Yeah, so I think now just on that note, those links might not go in. I may have to buy links at the end of the day because but I'll just buy I think you buy the C24 links instead. Those ones are see at the front, this is what's troubling me. At the front, these links are super duper short. And I don't know where I could get it seems like this model, the C44, doesn't have all the all mods out yet, and so 3650 brushless. Huh? No, 540 size. I don't want a 540. PLC. Anyway, so yeah, So I might start pulling this apart, and then I should order those parts so that sometime, maybe early next week, I can just start installing them on live, and yeah, and then we can make like a review video later after that. So, but look, without suspension, look how much flex this thing has. It's insane. All right, pro tip of the day. You want to get more flex out of this thing, just change the suspension and where you mount it. Mount it further forward, and you'll get so much flex out of this thing. Just by that's the one and only real pun intended flex you can do on your friends, is just change the suspension and the mounting position of the suspension on this truck, and it will be like 10 times better. That PC little engine, that's not worth anything. Look, they've bent the pins on this thing to get it under there. All right, I'll probably need a different power switch for that, but like that's not going to give you any grunt anyway. So, and there's the same what do you call that? Steering servo there. So with that gone, put that on. We'll put that on the and like let it be known, I prefer like chassis mounted servo, but I also really like my sanity as well, and fitting everything in here with a chassis mounted servo and whatnot. Yeah, I don't feel like that kind of stress in my life, so I'm just gonna, let my principles go, and I'm sort of. I've watched quite a lot of videos on YouTube of super scale looking trucks, and they have servo on axle, axle mounted servos, and unless you're really looking for it, you can't tell. So I'm not going to get too bent out of shape about that. So I'm going to just start working on this thing as if I had the parts, and then when the parts come in, I can just slowly one by one install them. But in this little space here, I want to fit the receiver. Hello, Astronaut. Thank you for joining. Thank you for your support. So in this little space here, I want to be able to fit the ESC and receiver. So let's pull this bad guy up here and just have a look at what sort of footprint they have. And see what would fit. So I think with a little bit of massaging, I could probably get them both to sort of Tetris in there a little bit. But like we'll be really pushing it. And then battery wise, I think that's where you're supposed to keep the battery in there. So this little 800 mAh might be the limit. Okay, that's 800 milliamp hours. So that might be the battery that we're going to be using. With that in mind, I know what sort of battery to look out for today. And they've given quite a lot of height in here, so I think we can get one of these little ESCs and a receiver like that. I think I can fit it in there without any modifications. So that's good to know. So the next step will be to just figure out, what. Now, the other thing is okay. These shocks, these front shocks, they require me to remove this whole tray to take them out. What transmitter? It's a good question. I use I use Fly Sky FS FSGT5. This thing over here. This transmitter can have up to 20 receivers, so you can have 20 trucks and one remote. This little dial you spin it around. So you go to model and say I've got this WLPC, and then you can swap all my. So I've only got. What have I only got? I've only got 5 trucks on this so far, so it's going to last me a while. But let me give you some advice. If you like running lights, I would recommend the Dumbo one. Look up something similar, like I don't know, Dumbo multi-receiver or something like that. Just Google it until you find it, because their receivers have heaps of channels for lights, and they've got the light specific. See these things? See those little brown bits? They're for lights, and the Dumbo one has heaps of those little ports so that you can deck your truck out with lights if you want. So I would recommend the Dumbo one, but now I'm locked into this. I don't really care. Like, it's just, it is what it is. But they also have a few more options, and maybe I haven't looked into it for Fly Sky, but it doesn't matter. Like, I bought that a while ago and it works really well. It's got heaps of customization on it. And it's got a gyro on it and in the receiver, so you can set it. It's more if you've got a pre-runner and you're going really fast. But if you slam on the throttle and the thing just takes off, the gyro will actually help keep your trucks straight when like the rear is pushing the front around and it starts snaking. The gyro will actually steer the whole thing straight, and it's like traction control. Like it's crazy watching it work. With it off, your car will just spin out and flip over. With it on, it just goes in a straight line. So it's pretty crazy tech, and it's pretty crazy how cheap it is. I'd 100% recommend that. I'm going to close the door so the sounds don't come in. All right, so to take these shocks off, I'm going to have to remove this thing. If I'm removing this, I'd be interested to know if there is a aluminium one. The aluminium ones, because aluminium's stronger than plastic, they have less of those ridges that give the plastic its strength. So yeah, but I'm holding on to this for now until I find an alternative, because that's going to be useful going forward. So okay. So yeah, as I was saying earlier, those shocks aren't even worth the plastic they're made out of. Okay, look how low that thing is now. So awesome. I use Fly Sky FSGT3B. It connects to 10 different RCs, and the receivers cost $90. Yeah, so the GT5, it cost a bit more. It would cost about $80 to get the first receiver and transmitter, and I pay about 80 RMB, which is about $16 Australian per receiver, which is I can live with that. It's all right. 20 different trucks. Yeah, the day I get to my 21st truck, I think I'll be fine to get another one. But have a look at the ridiculous amount of flex you get out of this when it doesn't have that crappy suspension on it. So that just goes to show that the best advice, if you get one of these trucks, definitely just change your mounting position and get better shocks, and you'll get 100% more performance out of this truck just by doing that one simple mod, which I think you could get away with under $20. And that would, yeah, that's today's hot take. I'm definitely going to be ordering the 2-speed trans for this, metal trans. When you do get one of those, if you do, they come bone, well, they don't come bone dry, but they come with the minimum amount of grease, and it's not very good quality grease. So I will pull that apart and use a rag to clean all that grease off. And let's see if I can find that little tub of grease. I recently did a big cleanup and I've changed where everything is, so I probably couldn't find it right now. But I got this grease. It's in my WPL playlist when I'm doing that. What type of grease it is? It's a oh man, I've forgotten the name of it. It's a good grease though. And I have no idea where it is. Yeah. But I bought a little tub of it, and it's like I bought 100 grams or 100 grams of it, and it's lasted me a long time. But we can make a video about it or something like that. But definitely pull the whole thing apart and use like a little rubber mat to keep everything in order and know where everything goes. I did it in like 2 or 3 stages so that I didn't get all the gears mixed up. And I also found out that when it was put together, one of the gears was upside down and it was causing this big trouble. Also, it comes with these little bushings inside of it. Oh, don't worry, I'm going to make a video about it, how to grease one of those. And the difference when it's properly greased is night and day. They operate so, they're deadly quiet. And they are so smooth, and there's no play in them. Yeah, so they deserve a proper greasing. That goes for also the axles. When I got them, they were configured upside down, and so the front wheels were going forwards and the back wheels were going backwards. So I turned it upside down, and when I did that, I had to pull these the portal section off when I turned it upside down. And when I was doing that, I pulled the whole thing open and greased every little part of it. Yeah. So make sure that you grease it. Let me read these comments. If you put a magnet plate under your mat, you can make all the metal parts stay and not roll off the table. Yeah, and I've got one of those mats. My laptop that I'm filming on is actually sitting on top of it, so I'd rather not pull it out. But it has these little magnet spots. You're 100% right. But what you're saying, I think you're saying, is that like film, like a fridge magnet, those really thin ones that people print their like business cards on, and you get a full one. Is that what you're talking about? And you cut it to shape to fit your rubber mat. I think that's a fantastic idea, and I'm probably going to do that. So thanks for the idea. So I'm going to just quickly tidy up this mess I've made here and try and reclaim some of these screws. Although, yeah, I mean, it doesn't really matter. When you do these sort of mods, and like I learnt from the first one, or from the C24, just get yourself one of these kits that has like every screw for the current model you're working on, and then just use the box to keep everything organized going forward. They're worth their weight in gold. And yeah, but like this sort of thing, I mean, a lot of work has gone into making that, and it's cool, but like it doesn't offer any performance. So it's a bit sad that it ends up just going in the spare parts bin. But I don't know, one day I might work out how to make use of it. So there is that. So I'm going to need a new box. I've got some boxes on the way. I sometimes keep, this is like an old rice container. I cleaned it out and I use it to keep like one project together. So I'll probably find, I might need another one. I threw one out yesterday. It's disappointing. Anyway, all this stuff. Yeah, not a lot of value in. It's all the accessories. So yeah, we can do a painting tutorial. I used to paint a lot of Warhammer. And I collected a lot of skills out of that to make like with hand painting stuff. So I wouldn't mind trying to get into that after I do like a spray I spray spray it with whatever spray it is to paint the car, and then we'll get out the paintbrush and maybe just add some details and other colors and stuff like that. These little suspension, I don't know, is that spring worth anything? Can I ever use that for anything? You can put them inside like coilovers. I don't think I have any use for them. I'll just chuck them out. So I don't know, many people buy a car and before even driving it, pull apart and like throw half of the parts away, but it is what it is. I think I need that servo horn though, so I'm going to hold on to that. Put that in here. Battery that I've been trying to use that. It's too big for the cavity, which is a 1500 milliamp. I've ended up going with Dean's for everything I've got, so it is what it is. Dan, I don't know how to use that yet. So yeah, is there anything you guys watching want to talk about? Because I have maybe 20 more minutes. We can dive into anything you want. I don't think I'll need that anymore, but we'll just hold on to it for now. Servo horns. Hey, Astronaut, are you still here? Yeah, we have a Discord. I'm getting everyone to join. And if you need help with your truck, whatever you're working on, we can sort of pull our resources and knowledge and help out everyone in the community. Yeah, if you ever need anything, when I'm available, I can just jump on Discord and help you if I know the answer. You can share your truck. You can share suggestions for the channel. Whatever, really. It's just a community. We can all hang out. So appreciate if you joined and have you in the part of the team. So I'm going out soon. This let's see. This is a 16 gigabyte RAM stick and it's broken. It belongs in this PC. And I'm going out soon to see if someone can help me fix it so it doesn't crash my computer when I turn it on. So I have to get ready for that soon. But I will be back here. I didn't know this worked. The streaming, I tried it once before. It didn't work. Might have been a bad day. But seeing as it works so well now, I'm going to make this a bit of a habit. To stream a bit and build a bit of community there. So tell your friends, and if you want anything out of it, I'm happy to sort of customize it to what you guys want to know or want to talk about. Happy to look into any cars or do reviews of anything, whatever, really. If you want to talk about it, you can see my channel, what I've already made videos of. So CR18P, TRX4M, Galande 118 scale, MN82. This bad boy here is a bit of a upcoming thing. 110 scale on 18 scale diffs. I'll be making a video about this the coming weeks, I think. A bit going on with this. So, yeah. Whatever you want to talk about. Obviously, I'm in the town where WPL and MN are made. Also, WL Toys. They're a little bit toy-ish, those cars, but we definitely have access to those models. So if you want to, we can talk about that. But I do focus on crawlers. So yeah, we'll focus on whether or not we can get more out of our crawlers and what we can do to make them better. So but yeah, looking for for any sort of whatever the community wants. So yeah, let's have a look at welcome. Okay, go back here. Been trying to make the stock tires on my SCX24 as grippy as possible. I took them out the foams, vented the tires, and my next step is to soak them in WD-40. I've heard about the WD-40 thing. With the taking out the foams, I've done that before, and I've got trucks that have no foams. And if they're a taller tire, the sidewalls sometimes can't really hold on to it. What I would recommend instead is cut the foam to be not as tall, right? So here's a foam. Oh, I've got an example right here, which is fantastic. Actually, I've got 2 examples. So here is a foam. It belonged in like a 1.3 tire or something like that. So what I recommend is cutting it so it's like only that tall, right? And that gives, and so you want the inner bit, right? The part that's closest to the rim. You want to keep that, and you want to cut a bit of the outside off. Some people cut like little teeth, like little V's all the way around. I think that's a bit hard and too much messing around. It doesn't have to be perfect. But if you cut around here, what it does is it gives a bit of strength. Gives a bit of strength to this part of the sidewall. So it lets this squish down. But when you're on a ledge like that, the whole tire won't smush in like that. It'll smush more like that, which is what you want. Because letting air out of tires on a 1-to-1 truck, it's not about how wide it gets. It's more about how long it gets. It becomes a bit more like a tank track. When it goes a bit flat on the bottom, you get more in this perspective, left to right. Yeah, venting. I don't vent. At the same time, if water can get in, it can also get out. But it can go moldy in there if it doesn't dry quick enough. Personally, I don't vent. But I know guys that like swear by it and tell me off for not venting and whatnot. Is the WPL C24 a crawler? Well, not stock. I mean, stock, it's kind of just looks like a little truck. This is a C24, but it's rare. I mean, most of the parts aren't even WPL anymore. So I mean, these are from an MN 82. These axles, the suspension is aftermarket. The whole thing's been cut down. But out of the box, you can go look at like my first video I made of a. Let's see if I can go back there. Where am I? Sorry, bear with me. I have a video. So if you go to my channel and then you go down to playlists, where is the playlist section? I don't know my way around my own channel. I'll playlist up the top here. And then you go WPL C24 and pause that. And then I don't know if I put them in order. What is the first? Have I lost my first one? First video I ever made on this. I have no idea where that is. Go back to that. Oh, first I want to go to playlists. I just want to see what's on the playlist. Or all videos. It's called Is the WPL C24 the best budget RC truck? Okay, that video. You can see what it looks like stock. Do you, hold on. Do you have a 3D printer? Yes, I do. It's the Bamboo Labs P1S, and it's got the AMS on top of it with the Sunlu dryer for the filament. And it's pretty good. I don't print many RC parts, but I print lots of these like little boxes to keep all my stuff like organized, and they're great. I've printed like 6 of them already. I want to print some more. I also printed this PC. I printed that. I've printed a few things, but RC parts, because it's really hard to. I'm not good at modeling on the computer. Like I can't 3D model yet very well, and that's and to make RC parts, you have to know how to actually like get onto CAD and model them, model the parts that you need. My experience with 3D printed parts. I mean, this body, I bought this online from a print farm, and that's 3D printed. And you can sort of see the print lines there. See that? And you can get pretty good quality. Like if you use a smaller nozzle, but it takes way more time, and you sort of turn the fidelity up, you can get some pretty good results. Yeah, so they're cool. But yeah, what do you want to know about the 3D printer? Have you ever tried to put? Hold on, let's go back. The Bamboo Lab P1P unfortunately doesn't work right now. I would like to know why. You can actually use the P1P to print the outside like the P1S. I don't know if you know that, but you can actually print. There's kits you can download from Bamboo Labs. You can print the outside case to make it enclosed if you want, and then you can also print these inserts that you get like recording studio foam, you know, that like volumetric foam, and you can put it in there to make them dead silent as well. Just a heads up. Have you ever tried putting figures in your cars to test them? Kind of. I'm not sure what you mean by test them, but I absolutely do want to put figures in my cars. But I'm holding off for A, a sale, and B, to know exactly what size figures to get. Because like WPL, for example, say they're 1/16, but they're not actually 1/16. So I have to do a bit of measuring and figure out exactly what scale figurine. Even though it might be a 1/16 scale car, it might take a 1/12 scale figurine. So 100% do want to do that. But I also do want to get around to painting the seats as well to make them look like real leather or stitched, whatever. Like, yeah, I want to paint this first and then put a figurine. And I think this would take, like, even a 1/18 scale figurine might be too big for this car. So, yeah. Yeah, it just looks cool. Absolutely it does. 100%. And, but the ones I've looked at, which are called, they're called Joy Toy, I believe. Let me look it up. You look up Joy Toy 112, is it? 112? No, 1/18th. I think they are. So look here and get a cool looking guys. I don't like these like fake futuristic ones, but you can get some pretty cool looking dudes here. Bear with me while I find a cool one. None of these are cool, but like that sort of thing. And all of their parts move, so you can get. See, these guys are sick. I would love to put like one of these or two of these. Look at this dude. Imagine him driving your car. That's sick. Yeah, so 100% been looking at these. But a lot of them, I think I have to cut the legs to get them to fit in there. So they definitely will be like left in there to, they'll be maybe glued in for sure, or maybe some Velcro or something like that. But I want to paint the seats and get this thing like as scale as possible. And I don't normally get a heap of time to work on them. So I will just, but I might set aside some more time to sort of get that right. Yeah, that sounds like a headache to me. I'd rather just because 3D printing it, when I first got it, I thought I'd just like get the model and press print, but they can often, like, it doesn't work out how you think it will work out. And inside my printer now is a failed print, and that's because something went wrong with the filament and it stopped extruding like halfway through the print, and that's like all of that stuff's wasted now, and it's just a headache to then go back and start again and figure out what went wrong. For something so detailed like a model, I wouldn't bother unless I was a complete expert. I know what I'm doing. Do you have a digital book, Albert? Of course I do. Yeah. Yeah, I use it all the time. It's great. This little thing up here cost me a couple of bucks. Yeah, great little thing. It's got this little hook, so I can hook it on my pegboard up here. I'll yeah, let's do a bit of a tour. So these are all my trucks, or a couple of them up here. Yeah, got the gaming PC, and then sorry, the it's mirror, and yeah, so it's not much of a room, but yeah, I think the next step would be to I'd printing parts for cars. I thought I would with the 3D printer. I thought I'd be printing lots of parts, but it turns out I want someone else to design them for me because I'm not good at CAD in the slightest. So yeah. I heard an announcement for Switch. I thought it was from that channel, but maybe not. Yeah. Yeah. So I think I might have to wrap things up shortly, and I'm keen to do another one of these. I really appreciated you guys joining and showing some support for a new channel. Please, show your support again in the future when I do another one of these, and I would like to be back here at like same time tomorrow, sort of thing. Is someone messaging me directly? Why is it making all these noises? I'm not sure if that's coming through. I wonder where someone like messaging me. I don't know if like the noises I'm getting like these announcements on Discord can keep hearing like this buzz, but not sure where it's coming from. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Hold on a second. There's a couple of comments here. Let me just make sense of everything. Have you ever driven it? Okay. Astro, I'm going to get to you in a second. So, the dimensions of the battery you wanted to fit in the crawler but was too big. I'm an intermediate 3D designer. I wanted to make a cover for the battery. So, are you talking about this one? If you can design battery trays, we can have a long conversation about that, because I want one for the 10th scale, and I've just resolved this situation, but there is also one for the TRX 4M, because I just made a mod for that and it won't fit the which is, this is my TRX 4M battery, right? So we can talk about that, and we can talk about this one. This one's not going to fit in this truck anymore, so I'm going to give up on the 1500 for this truck. But we could talk about the 1500 maybe going in the 110 scale. So the dimensions of this for a TRX 4M, would you like to talk about that? I had one of those. This little thing puts the battery horizontal, right, across the truck in the TRX 4M. Great little thing, except that now that I've got the FJ body, it won't fit in the TRX 4M anymore. Let's have a look. So this dimension here, 26.6 millimeters for that dimension. 26.6 millimeters. This dimension is 13.2. This dimension is... Are you writing this down? Everyone getting this? This is 46.6. This is 46.6. No. 40. Just call it 47 mil. Just call it 47 mil, because once you don't make it too tight, right? Make it a bit bigger, because these wires, and I'll show you what I mean. Actually, I've got a perfect example. Bear with me. Take some notes out of this. I did a scratch building video for this wooden box on the back of this. Wanted to look like an ammo box, and that was made for this battery. And I made it quite a bit bigger so that all these wires and everything would fit in there. Now I can give you some dimensions of this as well, if you'd like to discuss that. So I can't quite get that as wide as I want it, so we're just going to round it up. So that's probably 31 mil. Hey, Turbo Blast, thanks for joining, man. I'm from Australia. I'm Australian, but I live in China. Did you get that? 32 mil or 31 mil? Let's call it 31. 31 mil that way. 57.5 that way. And I have no idea how to measure that dimension, but let's just go like this, because we're doing internals, right? Am I going too fast? Okay, and that's 23.4. Oh, no, not 23.4. 22.4 internal, vertical, this measurement. Let's think about that. The only problem with putting it on the back is I'm going to have to, like, I appreciate what you're trying to do, and I think it's quite cool. On this car, look, that's how it's all set up in there, and it's all packed in. There's the ESC at the front, servo, and then the receiver, and then the engine here, and then it's also got a 2-speed. There's the 2-speed gearbox under the body there, so it's all sort of spread out in the front half, if you will. That's a CR18P, if you know about it. Oh, sorry, I missed the chat. Have you ever trying to build a trophy truck? Okay. That's what I'm trying to build up here, is a pre-runner. So, yeah. Does anyone know what Turbo Blast wrote? Sorry, I forgot to write down that one, but could you give me the width of the other battery? Other battery? The big one? This one? Just bear with me while I put this back up on the shelf. You're talking about this one, okay. This dimension is 34.2, 34.2, 22.3, 22.3, 27.1. Oh shit, centimeters. Let's just go back and do this again. 33.7. 33.7. Call this 23 mil, because you want allowance, right? You want to leave a little bit of space. You don't want it to be super snug. Let's call it. So call this 34 mil, 23 mil, 70 mil. All right, you got that? Were you able to get all that? Yeah, it is what I wanted to put in the C24, but that's why I did all that modding today on camera to get that little thing in the back. But it's not a big deal. That battery's been with me forever. I'm happy to get a different battery. Putting it in this, look, I don't know. This little tray here is going to have at least an 800 milliamp. Right, I could probably get a 1000, but like, man, are you going to actually model something like this? What if I got a longer one and just cut this little ridge out? I could get maybe a 1600 milliamp in there, or like a 1500 if it was just longer. You know what I mean? So I think it's more about getting this battery in the TRX4M. Because that's actually the bane of my existence. And don't worry about it, man. These are so cheap over here and so easy to get. One of those long drone batteries. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but I was just in the middle of sorting all this stuff out because I have to take myself out in a minute. Sorry, thinking out loud. So, yeah, but if you, I mean, we can let, if you wouldn't mind, we can get on Discord, because I do want to discuss actually some really cool mounts for the trailing arms on the pre-runner 110 scale. That, I mean, we're going to have to have a close talk about it, maybe tomorrow or something, if you're happy to go on the same time. But I'll show you the mounts, where it will mount and what it needs to do. I've already sort of started working on a file to mount to the chassis, the what do you call that thing? The sorry, I got a bit blank. It's nearly 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm getting a bit 3:30 itis. But the trailing arm to the chassis right at the point, like where the for the center is, and then there's some like little wings. PC is in the bag. Oh, I get what you mean. Hey, do you watch Void Star? He made a fantastic video on how to basically model anything. It was one of his really recent ones that came up on my feed, and he basically runs you through how to just take photos of what you want to model with a ruler, and you'll have to go and watch it and you'll understand. And he shows you how to put it in CAD and then design. And like, it seems too complicated for me, but he seems to think it's quite easy, but I wouldn't have a clue. It looks easier than doing it from scratch, but still looks really, really, really difficult. Yeah. But I think I'm going to have to sort of wind this up now, and we can. I'll do another stream tomorrow, and we can maybe discuss it on stream. Or if you'd think about getting Discord, we can discuss it in the Discord as well. But I will show you, like, essentially what I'm talking about is this. Let's get the light right. This little part here, I want to make it thicker with a mount back here, so that I can mount this link to here. And yeah, put it on there so I can do the trailing arm from there, or even make it a bit further forward so we can put a bit longer arm in there. But I've tried doing that, and this little carbon fiber fin actually screws to this part, so it needs to have a screw going down and a screw going that way, and a gap for the eye to go through. So I've tried modeling it myself, but I don't know. I tried using FreeCAD, and apparently that's a bad idea, but I don't know. Anyway, otherwise we can just do it here on chat, on the live stream, and we'll see how that goes. But I'm going to have to end it there. So thank you very much for participating and joining in. And I'm going to try and do this again tomorrow. So hopefully you'll see me back up and live again, and we can do this again. And keep going. Maybe I can show you some more mods or something like that. So thank you everyone for joining, and I'll see you later. Thank you very much. Yeah, hope to see you again sometime soon. Thank you, everyone, and I will see you later.